Hey everybody, thanks for coming in. We're just going to wait a few more seconds to see if anyone else wants to join us, and then we're going to get started. All right, looks like we can get going then. Hey guys, and thank you so much for coming. You are watching the Complete Guide to Small Business Insurance, hosted by vcita in partnership with Next Insurance. We have a great show for you today. This session is being recorded, so if you do need to dip out or you want to share it with a friend, don't worry about it. We will send you your recording sometime tomorrow. First, I'd like to introduce you to our speakers today. Of course, you have myself. My name is Kieran. I am a product support specialist and also a community manager for vcita. With me today, I have our guest, Joanna from Next Insurance. Joanna, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hi, Karen. Hi, everyone on the webinar. My name is Joanna, and I work at Next Insurance as an insurance advisor. I help small businesses find the right insurance for them. I really hope that after today's webinar, you walk away feeling more confident in your business and walk away with a peace of mind that your business is protected.
Great, perfect. Okay, so real quick, I just wanted to go over the agenda today. We have a great show, as I mentioned. If you don't mind, great. So what we're going to cover today, we just want to talk to you about, first of all, we're going to start with, is business insurance really worth purchasing? Then we'll discuss which policies are a must for your small business. We will give you some tips on what to consider when you're comparing policies. Then we will give you the skinny on where you can get the best coverage at the best prices. And finally, we will close out with a live Q&A session with our insurance expert. So definitely get in your questions. To that end, we did want to show you how to actually ask a question in the next slide. You will see, like, if you're on desktop, you'll see a floating window that looks something like this. So go ahead and type your question into the text box and hit send to send us a question. If you don't see that full window, it's probably just collapsed. Click on the red arrow to expand it again. And if you're on mobile, it's even easier. There's like a little question icon at the top. You can't miss it. So we wanted to start off just by taking the temperature of the room. So we have a couple of polls that we're going to share right now. I'm going to get that started if that's all right with you, Joanna.
Yep, take it away.
All right, so there's your first poll. We just want to know, have you bought business insurance before? And this isn't like your standard kind of insurance. It's business insurance specifically. So go ahead and get your answers in.
Yeah, this could be like your BOP policy, your E&O policy, general liability, or yes, no, or maybe you're considering it, but you haven't taken the plunge yet, and that's why you're here, wondering if it's worth it.
Perfect. All right, now we're gonna launch the second one. It looks like most of you answered yes, and a few of you have considered it. All right, so we're gonna launch the second poll, going live now. So let us know how you feel about your business insurance company.
I'm really curious about everyone's answer to this question. Because historically insurance isn't the sexiest thing. So I'm really curious how you guys really feel. Tell us how you really feel about your business insurance company.
No, really? I mean, all right, I would say that's a fair representation. So how do you feel about these responses, Joanna? Is that kind of what you expected to see? You can, yeah, check it out in the poll tab.
Okay, I can't see it right now. Do you mind sharing with me kind of like
Oh,
what
yeah.
people are saying? I would expect them to say like, I can't remember the name of my business insurance company.
So actually a lot of people said that they like 30% were about I love my business, my insurance company, and 14% were like I can't remember the name. But many of them don't have business insurance, and I guess that's why they're here. In fact, that was most of them.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Well, for those of you that love your business insurance company, that's great. I'm really excited to hear that. And we'll go through the different kinds of business insurance. And so you can do a bit of a mental check if you're set up right now to have your business fully covered all around with your current insurance provider. For those of you that don't remember who your business insurance company is, And if you're thinking about buying business insurance, then you're definitely in the right place, because I'm going to go into all of that, and I'm also going to recommend, hint, hint, Next Insurance at the end, and show you how maybe we can be a better fit for you. But
Perfect.
I actually want to start out by introducing you to one of our customers. This is Mark, and I want to tell you a little bit about his business journey.
So
So,
like I heard that he has like these really hilarious cake names just to.
yes, yeah. So the photo that you see here are his cakes in a jar, mason jars. And he has some flavors called Mariah Carrot, Ready Murphy, and my favorite, Lemon James, so Lemon James.
That's so cute.
And he makes these beautiful cakes in a jar, and then he ships them all across the country. But Mark has a really interesting business story, and it's actually, I think, one that we've heard a lot from small businesses this year, where in 2020, he really had to change his business model. He started out doing this part time. He was a truck driver, and he really had to go from selling physically at festivals to thinking about how he's going to bring his business online, working from home. And he really is fueled by his passion for baking cakes and fueled by the joy that these cakes bring his customers. But the thing is, this year he's discovered that running a small business is really, really difficult. Um, Mark is very lucky that he has support of his family and they all pitch in, help him with this business. But it's super tiring because he has to figure out all these costs. He had to figure out how he's going to pivot his business to be online. He has to figure out how he's going to market himself online, stand out amongst all the other bakeries, restaurants moving online. Um, and even though he was originally trying to expand his business, now he's facing like, how do I actually just try to change the business model? And so he already has all of these business questions, these big business expenses that he has to devote his time to thinking about. And then these are like really big questions, really expensive questions. And on top of that, what is Mark going to do like if his oven breaks down? What is Mark going to do if his mixer breaks down? And there are so many, it seems like there's so many obstacles in the way of Mark's business succeeding. And Karen, I actually wanted to see a quick check in there. But do you know how many small businesses open in the United States every year?
Okay. The United States, I mean, that's got to be a really big number, right? So I'm going to go with 250,000. How about 250,000 businesses?
250,000. Okay. So you're definitely right that it's a big number, but it's even bigger than that. So according to the Small Business Association, around 627,000 businesses, small businesses open. These are your mom and pop shops, your personal
Oh,
trainers, your financial consultants, your business coaches, and then also people like Mark, his small business. But do you know how many close every year as well?
yeah. If I had my way, like zero. Um,
Right,
but okay,
of
so
course.
let's say, yeah. So let's say that half of them close. So let's go with 300,000. Final answer.
Okay. Unfortunately, it's also a really big number. So about 595,000 small businesses also close every year. So
That's
it's
almost all.
it's almost
Wow, that's
it's a really, really big and heartbreaking number.
I
And
mean,
it just means that there are just so many obstacles in the way of a small business succeeding.
yeah, I
And
mean,
at this,
oh, sorry, continue.
yeah. And so at the start of this webinar, I told you I wanted to really walk away feeling confident how to build your business for the long term. And there is actually, we have to sit down and identify the things that are most important, most central to your business. And then with the help of insurance, you can actually put in a contingency place. So what that means is you focus on your core business and you can let insurance handle a lot of the what ifs. And so when things go wrong, instead of paying for all of these things out of pocket and being a money drain, you can actually stick to your business plan. So I want to go through some examples for you now. And remember, Mark had, a cake called Mariah Carrot. That's obviously a play on Mariah Carey's name. And what if Mariah Carey finds out and she's like, that's so unflattering. I really hate being called Mariah Carey. How could they? Mariah Carey could like potentially sue Mark for like using her image for advertising, right? Like that's probably not as likely of a scenario, I'll be honest. But let's say you're a fitness instructor and you posted a client's transformation photo online and they got upset or they want to be compensated for the advertising. Let's say you're a business coach or a fitness coach or a financial advisor, and your client blames you for not achieving their business goals, for not achieving their fitness goals because they think that you gave really bad professional advice. Or if you're in the beauty business, you're in the beauty business and you get a client that's unhappy with their haircut, that's unhappy with the facial that they received. Or even worse, what if the client had an allergy to a product that you used? In those cases, there could be financial losses for your business if there are financial damages to your client, if there are medical bills that they have to pay. Those are some unforeseen challenges that you may have to pay for out of pocket. And that's what this kind of insurance is for. You can see here on this slide, we have two different kinds of insurance we're specifically talking about, and that is general liability and professional liability, otherwise known as errors and omissions coverage. These two kinds of liability insurance is really designed to protect your reputation and your revenue in case someone doubts your professional advice, or a simple accident happens and you end up, in the worst case scenario, you may have to go to court and there may be legal fees that are associated with that. And so this is really, really important kind of insurance. Also, if you guys have experience with this kind of insurance, a lot of you mentioned that yes, you do have insurance. I'd love to hear about your experiences. Has this insurance come in handy in the past before? Or when you were considering buying insurance, were you thinking like, yes, I need this, or actually, no, I don't need this, and why? I'm really curious to hear your thoughts. Another kind of insurance, this one is really simple. I'm not going to spend too much time here, but this is auto insurance. And so for most of us, if we have an auto vehicle and we're running a small business, we'll probably just have personal auto. And in 90% of the cases, if you're just using your vehicle to commute, personal auto is fine. But if you are like Mark, who has to do deliveries, who has to do, maybe you deliver your supplies, or maybe you have like a cleaning service and you use your vehicle to transport employees, just double check, because sometimes a personal auto vehicle coverage may not cover all the aspects that you need. So if your vehicle is heavily involved in your business, you might want to consider switching to a commercial auto vehicle policy.
I hadn't even thought of that. That's not something you think about, right? You're like, I'm going to use my car for my business, of course.
Yeah, but like if your employees are driving your vehicle a lot, and it's just a really central part of your business, like just
Yeah.
try to imagine, if I didn't have my vehicle tomorrow, would I be able to do my business?
Right.
Right. The answer is no, then you might want to err on the side of caution and actually buy a commercial auto vehicle.
Good advice.
Thanks, Karen. Another really important kind of coverage is called workers' compensation. And so this is if you're thinking of upping your business ante this year and you're going to be hiring employees, in 99% of the cases, you are required to have workers' compensation insurance. And so these things cover your employees, like if they get injured on the job for whatever reason, they trip fall, or maybe like they're exposed to chemicals, or they get carpal tunnel from working too hard, like any kind of workplace injury. That's what workers' compensation is designed to cover. There are also coverages that you can add on top of that that protect you as an employer. So if someone sues you for your hiring practices, for your different like like workplace environment, like if they're feeling really stressed, like working from home, or like different kinds of things that might open you up to liability as an employer, that's also additional coverage you can add on your workers' compensation. So not only does it provide for your workers, but it can also really protect you as an employer as well. And then the last kind of coverage that we're going to go over today is property. And if you consider this little image here, I know most of us are working from home and we don't have a warehouse, but even if you're working in your home office, there are things that are super important to your business, like your laptop, for example. That's like our only connection to the world nowadays. Um, but what happens if my laptop is gone tomorrow? What if it gets stolen? Like, I wouldn't be able to do my job. I wouldn't be able to run my business. Um, and so business property can even protect your property when you're working from home if there are things that are really important to your business. So if you're a fitness instructor, maybe you are training people in like an outdoor gym and you have to bring all of your equipment with you. Well, I'm sure if you lost that equipment, it would be really hard for you to continue your training. If you are a beauty professional and now you're also on the move, like setting up pop-ups and stuff, well, you want to make sure your kit is protected, right? Um, and then for those of us that do actually have a physical office space, you want to make sure that physical office space is protected against fire, against like utilities damage and all these other things. Like imagine if you had to replace a whole building, the cost of that enormous. I can't even imagine what that would be
Yeah,
like.
no thanks.
No thanks. Yeah, so the takeaway is try to think about the objects that you use in your day-to-day life for your small business. And so if we go back to Mark and his bakery, those would be his oven. It would be his mixing stand. If you're a beauty professional, it probably is your beauty kit. If you're a fitness professional, it's probably going to be your equipment. And then if you're like a life coach, a business coach, a financial professional, it's going to be like your laptop.
Right.
All of those things you use to like hold your client's information. I'm sure it'd be really hard to run a business without your laptop. Okay. And so those are the four major kinds of insurance that you need. So we'll quickly run through them again. You have your your liability insurance. And so this is for your professional reputation and also any accidents that happen. And especially if you're going to be considering legal fees, you think like, ooh, I work with clients that might be a little litigious, might want to take me to court. Professional liability is really important to you. Here is if you cannot do business with your auto vehicle, make sure you check in and buy a commercial auto policy. Coverage for your team, these people that we work with very closely, we don't want them to get hurt. So if you're hiring employees this year or you already have employees, make sure you buy workers' compensation for them. And now you think about the things in our business, the things in our lives that we cannot live without. Our laptops, our kits, our buildings. These are the things that would then protect. This is the kind of insurance that you need for your property. So we talked now about different kinds of insurance and the different obstacles facing all of our business owners.
Yeah, I mean, you That's a lot of big problems for some small business owners, huh?
Yeah, big problems for our small businesses. Well, it's not easy being the boss all the time, right? You
Yeah,
there's a bit of you get to be a boss, and then there's a lot of responsibility that comes with it.
right, right. I mean, you've talked about insurance generally, and I think you've showed us how some policies can help mitigate some of the risks involved with running a business. But why don't we talk about Next Insurance? Because as I understand, you guys do things a little bit differently over there.
Yes. Thank you for the cue up, Kieran. At Next Insurance, we are 100% dedicated to small businesses and the self-employed. So we have over 130,000 customers, and they're all small businesses. So they're your salons, your beauty professionals, your fitness instructors, your personal trainers, your business coaches, consultants, even tutors. Um, and the really cool thing is that our founders themselves were small business owners.
Oh, wow.
And they found that when they were creating their business and growing their business, they kept running up against insurance. It was like this necessary evil that they had to deal with. Um, but they absolutely hated the experience of buying insurance, interacting with their insurance company. That's why I'm so surprised so many of you said that you do enjoy working with your insurance company. I think that's really great.
Maybe they work with
Um,
Next Insurance.
Maybe actually, yeah. Let us know if any of you are Next Insurance customers. So our founders wanted to create an insurance company that was built for small businesses. One of the things that we're really proud of is that we try to save our small business owners time, money, and we also try to delight them as much as possible as well. And so in 2020, COVID was something that really affected our community. And we wanted to step up and give back to our small business owners. And so we started refunding people for their insurance. We reduced everyone's premium by 25%.
Wow.
And we gave back almost $2 million to our 130,000 customers. So that was money directly back in the pockets of these small business owners. And so that's something we were really proud of that we did in 2020. I also want to show you exactly like how easy it is to get a policy. And so if you visit our website and you're considering insurance and this maybe has convinced you like, hey, it might be a good deal, you can go to our website, fill in what state you're in, give us your little email address, and then you can actually go ahead and start the application. And there's the different kinds of insurance that I just went through and talked about, and you can go ahead and complete a quote. So when you go through and finish filling the questionnaire, you'll actually go ahead and receive a quote. And from here on this page, you can pick exactly the kinds of insurance that you need. So if you don't have employees, don't buy a workers' comp. And you can go through and adjust and look and be like, oh, look, there's all these examples for fitness instructors. We also tell you exactly what's not included because that's just as important. And then you can go through and pick your different limits. So if you don't think you need 2 million and 4 million, you can pick a smaller policy as well. And then you can go through and pay for your insurance 100% online as well. So this process takes you less than 5 minutes, honestly.
Yeah, I love the customization.
Yeah, you can really pick. And I think that's something that was really difficult for traditional insurance companies is there's typically a product that says one size fits all. But like the examples I just gave, like a fitness instructor, a beauty professional versus consultant coach, there's very different needs for the business. And so it's hard to come up with a one size fits all approach. So we want to make sure it's as tailored as possible for the small businesses.
Right on.
And we also try to make the prices as affordable as possible. The other thing that's really cool is that everything is done online. And so, like everything we do nowadays. And so you can go in and as you grow your business, we can also grow with you. So you can adjust exactly the the kinds of insurance that you have. And then the other thing is we know that the most common way you interact with your insurance is actually proving to other people you have insurance.
Mm.
So you can actually go through and issue certificates online. There's no hidden fees, there's no cancellation fees, there's no financing fees, there's no fees of any kind. And so we don't charge you anything extra to issue these certificates either. Okay, I'm done talking about Next and insurance as well. Let's see what questions we
Okay.
have.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you for that great presentation, Joanna. I think there was a lot to learn. I learned a lot, quite frankly. But yeah, guys, as promised, it is now time for questions. If you are sitting on any questions, make sure you get them in right now. I see that we already have some questions. Hold on, let me expand this a little bit. All right. Lisa Allen would like to know, what kind of consultants do you cover?
That's a great question. So, Lisa, if you're still on the line, I'd actually love to know what kind of consultant you are. But we cover, business consultants, financial consultants. We have real estate professionals. We have accountants, like you're advising on their accountancy or their business. We also have life coaches. So if you're coaching more generally about life goals that they want to hit, we also cover fitness coaches and consultants. So a pretty wide range. I'd love to know if there is a specific kind of consulting that you do. Maybe I can answer your question a little bit more targeted. But we have over 130,000 small businesses, and we insure over 1,500 different kinds of small businesses as well. So a really broad range. I'm sure we could help you find a fit.
Yeah, I noticed that Angela mentions she has Next Insurance for her business, so that's pretty cool.
Whoa!
Yeah, go Angela. All right.
I hope you and you
Um,
love your insurance company.
she did. I know she did. I feel it. All right. Actually, Lisa got back to us. She says, my company is a comprehensive risk management company. It has been a challenge finding a fit.
Yeah, Lisa, I would actually, if you are having some questions, I would actually recommend, I'm gonna move on to the next slide so Lisa can have this information.
Mm,
But you can give our customer support team a call and you can discuss them. Everyone on the end of this line is a licensed insurance agent, and so they would be able to advise you what's the best fit there. So you can have a one-on-one consultation with them free of charge.
perfect. Perfect. Lisa, definitely give them a call. They're great. All right. Let's see what else we got. So we have Natalie who'd like to know, I'm currently working from home and doing training appointments online. Does insurance cover online training?
That's a great question. So the answer is yes, do cover online training. I know a lot of us can't be in person with our clients right now. And so even if you're giving professional advice or doing fitness coaching online, the insurance still applies.
Perfect, perfect. Lisa came back again to thank you.
Thanks, Lisa.
All right. Well, let's do one more. Okay. So Ryan would like to know. He has independent contractors that work for him, and he issues a 1099. Does he need workers' comp for contractors, independent contractors?
Yeah, that's a great question, Ryan. So if you hire 1099s or contractors, you're not required to buy workers' compensation for them. So at that point, it's a question of asking yourself, okay, are there risks associated with this that I might want to be protected from? So remember I talked about in workers' compensation, not only are we buying coverage for our employees, but we're also buying coverage for ourselves as an employer, just in case, there's a bad parting of ways between you and the employee, or something happens that you as an employer might be liable for. And so in those cases, if that's something that you think is a risk when it comes to your 1099, then I do recommend that you consider workers' compensation insurance for yourself.
All right. Um, and that is it for questions. So let's move on to the next slide. And if you did have any additional questions that you didn't get to ask, or if you think of something later on, definitely take down this contact information on the screen. Get in touch with Next Insurance. They're fantastic. You will also be getting a link to contact them in your follow-up email tomorrow, so take advantage of that. And don't forget, that's also where your recording of this webinar will be. But you know what? I mean, that's it. So thank you, Joanna, for being here today. It was great having you. We learned a lot.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you for having me, and thank you to the vcita community for having me as well.
Yeah, and you guys, you've been a great audience. Thank you so much for coming. Watch this space for more great content in the future. But that's all for this one. So until next time, see you guys.
Bye. Stay safe, everyone.